Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live fully, without the weight of fear or limitation holding you back? What if everything you've been told about life, death, and the universe was only part of the story? What if death is not an ending, but merely a transition? Imagine for a moment that you are already living in the afterlife, that this existence is not your final destination, but an essential phase of your eternal journey. What would you do with your life if you truly understood that you are not just your body, that you are consciousness itself, and that death can never truly separate you from the vastness of your being? In this video, we are diving into one of the most profound insights that can completely transform the way you live your life. What if the secret to living fully lies in understanding that you are eternal? This realization allows you to embrace every moment with a new sense of purpose, clarity, and growth. It's not just about surviving life's trials, it's about thriving through them, knowing they are the very experiences that shape your consciousness. Let's explore this idea together. Part 1. The nature of consciousness. You are not your body. The prevailing belief in modern science has long been that consciousness arises from the brain. This view, commonly referred to as materialism, suggests that our thoughts, emotions, and sense of self are products of the brain's neural activity. However, this concept is increasingly being challenged. Both scientific advancements and ancient wisdom point toward the idea that the brain does not create consciousness. Rather, it serves as a receiver or filter for consciousness, which exists beyond the physical brain and body. To illustrate this, think of the brain as a radio. A radio does not generate the music or signal. It simply tunes into it, receiving the transmission and playing it out through sound. Similarly, our consciousness does not arise from the physical brain, but is akin to a radio receiver, tuning into and interpreting signals from a larger, unseen reality. This understanding challenges the long-held notion that when the body dies, consciousness ceases to exist. If consciousness is not produced by the brain, then it cannot be destroyed with the body. It persists beyond the physical death, unaffected by the dissolution of the body, and exists in a non-material form that transcends time and space. Personal insight. From a Buddhist perspective, this understanding aligns with the principle of anicca, impermanence, one of the core tenets of Buddhism. The Buddha taught that everything in our world, our bodies, our thoughts, and even the physical environment around us is transient. Our minds and bodies are subject to change, decay, and eventual death. The true self, or Atman in some traditions, is not attached to these impermanent forms. Rather, it is the awareness or consciousness behind them, which remains unaffected by the passing of time and the impermanence of physical matter. This perspective can be incredibly liberating. It helps us detach from the fear and anxiety tied to the physical world and its inevitable decline. If we understand that our consciousness is not confined to the body, we can begin to live with greater peace, knowing that our true essence, the awareness we experience life through, is not bound by physical limitations. We are not simply our bodies. We are the awareness that observes and experiences everything, transcending both the body and the mind. Take, for example, Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, who revolutionized the tech industry. Before his death in 2011, Jobs was often asked about his legacy and the meaning of life. In his famous Stanford commencement speech, Jobs shared a profound realization. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. His reflections show a deep understanding of impermanence, recognizing that life, and particularly the physical body, is transient. Jobs seemed to have grasped the notion that consciousness, the essence of who we are, extends beyond the physical realm, urging us to live fully and authentically, knowing that the body is only a temporary vessel. Part 2. Death is not the end, it's a transition. The concept of death has long been one of the most feared and misunderstood aspects of human existence. From an early age, we are taught that death is the end, a cessation of consciousness and the final separation from the world. However, in the context of the larger reality, death is not an end, but rather a transition, much like a logout from one level of existence to another. Just like in a video game, the body serves as an avatar, a temporary interface through which consciousness interacts with the physical world. When the avatar's mission is complete, it ceases to function, but the player, the consciousness, continues. In this sense, death is not a termination of existence, but a change in form, a transition to another phase of the journey. This idea of death as a transition challenges the materialist perspective that once the brain ceases to function, consciousness is extinguished. Instead, death is seen as a shift in the simulation, where the consciousness moves on to a new reality or a new phase of experience, much like how we change levels or stages in a video game. In Buddhism, this understanding aligns with the teachings on samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Traditionally, samsara is viewed as a cycle of reincarnation, where individuals are reborn into new lives based on their past actions and karma. However, this idea can also be interpreted as the continual evolution of consciousness. Death, in this view, is not a final judgment but a passage, a necessary step for the soul's growth and progression. Rather than fearing death as the end of our existence, we can reframe it as an essential part of our spiritual journey, a process of continual learning, growth, and refinement of the soul. Each life, each level in the game of existence, offers unique lessons and opportunities for evolution. Once those lessons are learned, the soul transitions to a new level, a new phase where it can continue its growth in a new form. Take Thomas Campbell, a scientist and physicist known for his work on consciousness and the afterlife. Campbell's research and theories challenge the materialist view of death and consciousness. His theory of everything toe suggests that death is not an end but a transition, where consciousness moves to a broader system of awareness. Campbell's work emphasizes the idea that life is an experience, a game, a simulation, in which we are not passive participants but active co-creators, shaping the world around us through our consciousness. His research into altered states of consciousness and his development of techniques like hemispheric synchronization, hemisync, support the notion that our consciousness is part of a larger system that continues after death. Campbell's theory gained traction in scientific circles not because of mystical beliefs, but because of its grounding in empirical research and the study of consciousness through measurable phenomena. It suggests that after we log out of this simulation, death, we do not cease to exist, but rather transition to a different level of existence, where our consciousness continues to evolve and expand. These insights into consciousness and death present a radical shift in our understanding of existence, urging us to view life as a process of spiritual evolution rather than a temporary journey of the body. By embracing this perspective, we can begin to live more fully, free from the fear of death and more attuned to the deeper, non-physical aspects of our being. Both science and ancient wisdom suggest that we are much more than our physical bodies. We are the consciousness, the awareness experiencing the world and the process of evolution through the vehicle of our physical form. In this expanded understanding, death no longer feels like an impending doom, but rather an integral part of the eternal journey of consciousness. Each life, each transition, is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve, contributing to the vast and intricate system that sustains us all. Part 3, the power of awareness, your role in the simulation. One of the most profound realizations in our journey of self-awareness is that we are not passive observers of reality, but active participants in its creation. This understanding starts to emerge when we begin to notice how the world responds to our internal state. Have you ever noticed how, when you're in a bad mood, it seems like everything around you is against you? Conversely, when you feel positive and energized, everything around you appears to flow effortlessly. This is not mere coincidence. It suggests that our thoughts, emotions, and actions are not isolated events. They have the power to ripple outward and shape the world around us, influencing our circumstances in ways that we may not have fully realized. This concept points to an essential truth. The reality we experience is not just a passive reflection of external events, but is co-created by our internal state. Every thought, Every emotion and every action is not only a response to the world around us, but also a force that shapes that world. The more aware we become of this dynamic, the more control we have over our experience of reality. We can actively choose to interact with the world in a way that aligns with our deepest desires and intentions, rather than passively reacting to life's challenges. Consider the life of Oprah Winfrey, a person who, despite facing significant hardships, has created one of the most successful media empires in history. Oprah's journey is a prime example of how awareness and intention shape reality. She often speaks about the power of visualization, affirmations, and the conscious alignment of thoughts with actions. She once shared in an interview, "The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams." Her belief in the power of awareness, self-reflection, and conscious decision-making has played a major role in her extraordinary success. By cultivating a mindset focused on positivity and self-empowerment, Oprah transformed her reality, not by simply reacting to it, but by consciously shaping it through her inner state. In the context of Buddhist teachings, this idea is encapsulated in the practice of sati, or mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just about paying attention in the moment. It is about becoming deeply aware of the inner workings of your mind. Through mindfulness, you begin to observe the patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that shape your experience of reality. You come to realize that you are not your thoughts or emotions, you are the awareness behind them. By observing and understanding these patterns, you can begin to transcend the illusion of separation, the idea that you are an isolated individual, disconnected from the world around you. Instead, you come to recognize that you are interconnected with everything and everyone. This realization fosters a sense of compassion, clarity, and inner peace, as you begin to understand that your thoughts and actions affect the collective consciousness. This awareness extends beyond just the individual. As we become more attuned to the interconnectedness of all things, we also begin to understand the role our consciousness plays in the collective fabric of reality. In a world where so many people feel isolated and disconnected, this realization is both comforting and empowering. By changing our internal state, by cultivating love, compassion, and understanding, we influence the world around us in profound ways. The power of awareness gives us the ability to not only transform ourselves, but also contribute to the transformation of the world. Part 4: Expanding Consciousness: How to Access Higher Realms. The idea that we are not confined to the physical realm and that consciousness extends beyond the body can be further explored through altered states of consciousness. These altered states are not just mystical experiences. They represent a deeper layer of reality that we are often unaware of. One way to access these non-physical realms is through techniques such as binaural beats, which induce a phenomenon known as hemispheric synchronization. Hemispheric synchronization involves playing two slightly different frequencies in each ear, causing the brain to create a third frequency that is the difference between the two. This third frequency, often referred to as a binaural beat, can guide the brain into altered states of consciousness, such as deep relaxation, heightened awareness, or even transcendental experiences. These states are not just a form of relaxation or escapism, but are gateways to higher realms of consciousness, where the individual can access information, intuition, and experiences that are beyond the reach of ordinary perception. This concept suggests that our consciousness is not confined to the brain or the body. Instead, it can expand beyond these limitations, accessing higher dimensions of existence that are not visible in our everyday lives. By tapping into these higher realms, we begin to see the hidden design and structure of the universe, uncovering a reality that is more intricate, interconnected, and profound than we could ever imagine. One of the most renowned advocates for altered states of consciousness is Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist and author who explores the potential of the mind to influence the body and the world. Dr. Dispenza's work focuses on the power of meditation and mindfulness to access altered states of consciousness and heal the body. In his book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, He explains how individuals can use the power of their mind to transcend their current state and enter new realms of awareness. He shares numerous stories of people who, through focused meditation and the use of binaural beats, have experienced profound healings and shifts in their lives. This work shows that by expanding our consciousness, we are not only accessing new realms of existence, but also transforming our physical and emotional well-being. In Buddhism, meditation is the primary tool used to access these higher states of consciousness. The Buddha taught that through meditation, we could transcend the limitations of the body and mind and awaken to the true nature of reality. Meditation is not merely about calming the mind. It is about connecting with the deeper awareness that lies beyond the thoughts and emotions that constantly occupy our minds. Through meditation, we become attuned to the subtler layers of consciousness, which reveal the interconnectedness of all things and the underlying unity of existence. This practice of meditation is not only an ancient spiritual tool, but is also backed by modern science. Studies have shown that meditation can have profound effects on the brain, increasing its capacity for compassion, focus, and emotional regulation. It allows us to access states of consciousness that are not limited to the material world, offering a direct experience of the larger, more expansive reality that exists beyond the physical realm. By practicing meditation and other consciousness-expanding techniques, we can begin to perceive the hidden design of the universe. We begin to see that the world around us is not chaotic and random, but is instead a carefully orchestrated system, guided by the principles of interconnectedness and harmony. The more we practice and explore these higher realms of consciousness, the more we realize that we are not separate from the world, we are an integral part of it. We are not just observing the game, we are the ones shaping it. Part 5, Living Fully Knowing You Are in the Afterlife. The idea that we are already living in the afterlife may sound strange at first, but it is a radical shift in perspective that has the power to change how we approach our daily lives. Understanding that death is not an end but a transition, and that we are eternal beings, unaffected by the passing of the physical body, can completely alter our relationship with life itself. This worldview invites us to embrace each moment as an opportunity for growth, love, and clarity. It removes the fear of death and opens up a space for a fuller, more vibrant experience of life. When we begin to grasp the idea that we are eternal, that our consciousness continues beyond the physical form, the question shifts. No longer are we focused on whether there is life after death. Instead, the true question becomes, how will you choose to live now that you know you are eternal? This realization gives us an extraordinary power, the power to approach life with a deep sense of purpose, understanding that every moment is part of a much larger journey. It allows us to see beyond the day-to-day struggles and setbacks, and instead view them as opportunities for learning, for expanding our consciousness, and for evolving into our highest selves. The belief that we are eternal beings forces us to live differently. We no longer view challenges and hardships as burdens to bear, but as valuable lessons designed to help us grow. We no longer approach life with a mindset of survival, but with one of thriving. Every experience, no matter how difficult, becomes a stepping stone in our spiritual evolution. Imagine, for a moment, that every single moment in your life is an opportunity to evolve. That instead of simply enduring the ups and downs, you actively seek out lessons from each experience. Imagine approaching every challenge, every moment of pain, and every instance of joy as an invitation to grow, to deepen your understanding, and to expand your consciousness. This shift in perspective radically alters how we live. No longer do we react to life with fear, anxiety, or frustration. Instead, we embrace each moment with curiosity, gratitude, and a sense of wonder. When you truly believe that you are eternal, that death is not something to fear but to understand, your whole approach to life changes. The fear of death dissipates, and in its place, there is a deeper sense of presence and connection to the world around you. This worldview is transformative. It allows us to become more engaged in life, to live with intention and clarity, and to make conscious choices that align with our higher purpose. With this new understanding, we can live fully, embracing every moment, because we understand that this journey is not just about the physical body, but about the evolution of our consciousness. To illustrate this shift in perspective, consider the story of Nelson Mandela, one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century. After spending 27 years in prison, Mandela could have emerged with anger, resentment, and a desire for revenge. Instead, he chose to embrace the idea that his suffering was not in vain. He recognized that his imprisonment was part of a larger journey, one that would help him grow and evolve as a person and as a leader. Mandela's ability to live fully, even in the face of immense hardship, was rooted in his deep sense of purpose and understanding. He knew that his life was part of a larger system of change and evolution. When he was finally released from prison, he didn't just step into freedom with bitterness or regret. He embraced the opportunity to lead with love, forgiveness, and compassion, understanding that each moment was an opportunity to continue his growth and evolution. Mandela's story teaches us that life is not about avoiding hardship or pain, but about embracing it as an essential part of our growth. He did not allow the circumstances of his life to define him. Instead, he chose to define his circumstances through his thoughts, actions, and consciousness. This is a powerful example of how living with the understanding that we are eternal can radically change how we experience the world. The idea that we are eternal beings, already living in the afterlife, also invites us to see life through a different lens. Rather than seeing life as a series of events that happen to us, we begin to understand that life is an ongoing process of evolution. We are not just waiting for death to come. We are continuously evolving, growing, and learning, and every experience contributes to this larger journey of spiritual development. This understanding also encourages us to live with more love and compassion. When we recognize that we are all interconnected, that our actions, thoughts, and feelings ripple outward into the world, we begin to treat others with more kindness, respect, and empathy. We begin to see that our relationships, our actions, and our decisions all play a role in shaping the collective consciousness of humanity. Living fully, knowing that you are eternal, means fully engaging with life. It means looking at challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. It means recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and choosing to live with intention, compassion, and love. It means embracing life as the adventure that it is, with the understanding that we are not defined by our physical body or the circumstances of our lives. We are defined by our consciousness, our awareness, and our ability to evolve. Consider the life of the Dalai Lama, a figure who has spent his entire life embodying this perspective. The Dalai Lama has faced immense challenges, including the occupation of Tibet and his exile from his homeland. Yet, he has never viewed these hardships as the end of his journey, but as an essential part of his spiritual evolution. Through his teachings, he encourages us to approach life with a sense of purpose and compassion, to recognize that every experience, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for growth. In his book, The Art of Happiness, the Dalai Lama writes, "Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions." His life is a powerful reminder that living fully means embracing each moment as an opportunity for growth. It means recognizing that we are not just passengers in life, we are active participants in shaping our own journey. The role of awareness in living fully. The key to living fully lies in awareness. Awareness allows us to see beyond the surface of our experiences and recognize the deeper meaning behind them. It helps us understand that life is not just a series of random events, but part of a larger, interconnected system. By cultivating awareness, we can become more present in each moment, fully experiencing the beauty, joy, and challenges that life offers. The more aware we become, the more we recognize that life is not about avoiding pain or hardship, but about learning from it. Life is not about achieving a perfect existence free from suffering, but about how we respond to suffering and how we grow from it. When we live with awareness, we begin to see the divine purpose in all things, the trials, the joys, the relationships, and the challenges. We recognize that everything is part of the larger tapestry of life, contributing to our spiritual evolution. Living fully also means being able to release the fear of death and embracing the understanding that death is not the end of the journey, but a continuation. This perspective allows us to live with a sense of inner peace, knowing that we are part of something greater than ourselves. When we stop viewing death as something to fear, we start living with more intention, more love, and more clarity. This understanding shifts the focus from what we fear to how we can make the most of the time we have. It encourages us to live with purpose, to invest in relationships, and to pursue the things that truly matter. When we live fully, knowing that we are eternal, we stop waiting for life to happen and start creating our own reality with love, compassion, and awareness. Living fully, with the understanding that we are eternal beings, can transform every aspect of our lives. By approaching each moment with awareness, we open ourselves to growth, compassion, and love. We can transcend the fear of death and embrace life as a profound journey of spiritual evolution. This mindset allows us to live not as passive observers, but as active creators of our reality, shaping our experience with every thought, every emotion, and every action. Life becomes not something to survive, but something to experience, to evolve through, and to celebrate. Now that we've explored the idea that we are eternal beings, living in a continuous journey of spiritual evolution, the question becomes, how will you choose to live? Will you continue to view life as something to simply endure, or will you embrace every moment with the awareness that you are part of something much larger than yourself? By living fully, with the understanding that death is not the end, but a transition to a new phase, we free ourselves from the fear that often governs our decisions. We embrace life with more intention, love, and compassion. Imagine approaching every challenge, every setback, and every joyful moment as an opportunity to grow and evolve. This new perspective opens the door to a life lived with purpose, meaning, and deep connection to everything around you. The journey isn't about waiting for death to come, it's about living fully now, knowing that you are eternal and that every step you take is part of your soul's evolution. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you live with curiosity and compassion? Will you approach every moment as an opportunity to evolve and become your highest self? Share your thoughts with us, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into living a life of purpose, peace, and spiritual growth.